Hey guys, I've got some great news to share. On July 29th of this year, 2024, I'm going to be posting my 100th episode of the Undraped Artist podcast. And I personally think that this occasion warrants some celebration. So, what I'm going to do to celebrate is two things. First, I've got a really special episode planned. It's one I'm not going to tell you about, but just take my word for it. It's like nothing I've ever done or posted, and you're going to love it. So tune in on the 29th early and watch this episode. It's going to be awesome. The second thing I'm doing is a giveaway. I don't want this to be any ordinary giveaway. I want this giveaway to be special. So I've given a lot of thought, and I've decided that I'm going to make you guys something. I know that sounds extremely lame, but I promise you it's not going to be made out of paper. It's not going to be a noodle necklace, anything like that. I'm actually pretty good at making stuff. In fact, if you may already follow me on my Instagram account, which is my maker's account, you might say, at Jeff_Hein_studio, where you can see some of the things I've made out of leather and metal and wood and fiberglass and electronics, lots of different types of things. I've got my hands in a lot of stuff. So one of the things I love to make are art tools. And that's what I made for you guys. Let me tell you a little bit about it. So I don't like to carry a sketchbook for a variety of reasons. I draw all the time, and I do carry paper and even sketchbooks sometimes. But what I like to carry is loose leaf paper. And the reason why is because, well, there's two reasons. One, because if I carry a sketchbook and I do a drawing that I want to sell, I can't rip it out without ruining the binding. If I drew a drawing that I hate and I can't stand looking at it, I can't rip it out without ruining the binding. If I want to give a drawing away, if I want to show a drawing, can't rip them out without ruining the binding. So that's number one reason. The other reason why is when I draw, I get sick of the paper I'm using pretty often. I want some variety. I want to try different things, maybe use some tone paper, some smooth paper, some rough paper. So I like to carry paper so that I can have a variety of different surfaces to work with. So what I do is I carry what I call a sketch case. This is one of my sketch cases. And I've made probably like 12 versions of a sketch case. And some of them are on my Instagram account that I just mentioned. This is my latest version. And the reason I really like this version is because it's really quite simple. Some of them have been a little more complex. This one's quite simple. It's just made out of aluminum. It's kind of like, it really is a clipboard, right? It's got a really simple clasp on the front that keeps it shut. And then you open it just like that, and then you can just push your finger through a hole at the bottom to lift out the paper, and you can just put whatever papers you want. It's designed to carry 9x12 paper cut in half, so 6x9 sheets. And the reason I designed it that size, one, I wanted it compact, but two, I wanted it to carry 9x12, particularly cut in half, because every artist paper comes in 9x12, it seems like. So I knew I'd have a lot of options. So what you do is you take your paper out from the inside, you put it on the front, and you stick it to the front with these rare earth magnets. And then when you're done, stick it back in the box. It's lightweight because it's aluminum, almost as light as a sketchbook. It's really the only weight you feel in it is the paper inside. And then it's powder coated, which is a baked on finish. So it is tough stuff. It's the finish is tougher than automotive paint. So it's really quality product, even though it's technically homemade. So if this sketch case is of interest to you, you are in luck because I made 3 extra ones to give away. And I'm really excited for you guys to have those. Here's how you enter the giveaway. First, I'm going to give 2 of them. I originally was going to give 1. I'm sorry, I'm changing my mind because they just deserve it. I'm giving 2 of these to my patrons. Now, I know you're probably wondering, what are patrons? Patrons are people that pay a small amount of money every month to support the podcast. These people are salt of the earth because, frankly, how many podcasts do we all listen to for free and never give anything? These people give every month out of their hard-earned money to support the podcast and essentially support me making the podcast. And I'm really grateful to them. So here's how you become a patron. Go to theundrapedartist.com, scroll down to the link Be My Patron on Podbean, and then just enter a monthly amount that you can afford. I'll be choosing 2 of my patrons at random to receive one of these sketch cases. And I really want to express how grateful I am for your support and your generosity when you don't have to pay for this thing. So now, the rest of you, that leaves one more sketch case to give to you guys, my listeners. Now, here's what you need to do to win this sketch case. First, you need to go to Apple Podcast or Spotify and give me a 5-star review. Okay, 5 stars. Then, if you're an Apple Podcast listener, you can't do this on Spotify, I understand, but if you're an Apple Podcast listener, I want you to give me a review, write a review, okay? Just say something like, I don't know, you're the best looking host I've ever seen. I can't live without your voice, maybe. How could anyone have such a great assortment of hats? Or just something like, I don't know, I can't live without you from Tuesday to Sunday. Just something you'd expect to see on a podcast review. After you've done that, I need you to go to YouTube and follow me on YouTube, the Undraped Artist Podcast on YouTube. And then when all that's done, I need you to go to my Instagram account, the Undraped Artist Podcast Instagram account, and give me a follow there. And then look for this post with this video, and then give me a comment that says done, D-O-N-E. And then I will choose from all the people who've done it. And one of you will be the lucky one to win this sketch case. So thank you again to all of you, patrons, listeners, of course, my generous sponsors, everyone who supported this podcast. I couldn't be more grateful and excited about the success of it. I'm looking forward to 1,000 more episodes. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Huihan Liu, welcome back to the podcast.
Oh, good morning, Jeff.
It's good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you.
I just totally, I totally outed myself. I said, welcome back to the podcast. So now, so people who follow the podcast are going to be questioning that one. Well, we tried this once before and technical difficulties made us have to do it again. So we're doing it again.
Oh, good, good.
There it is. So that's why I said, welcome back to the podcast. I'm glad to be able to talk to you again. This will be fun.
Thank you. Thank you, Jeff. It's awesome. I think I'm so honored.
Yeah, well, the honor's mine. Seriously, man, your work is extraordinary. So do me a favor, though. Just slide a little bit to, just getting there in the center. Okay, so everyone can see you real good. Obviously, a lot of people are going to know who you are. And if I could describe your work, I would say you're everything. You're a multi-figure painter. You're a landscape painter. But the thing that I'm most drawn to with you is your multi-figure work. I just think it's very sophisticated, and multi-figure is hard to do. So I'm really excited to pick your brain a lot about kind of how you execute it and stuff. But I also want to know your history, because obviously by your accent, you're not from around here. You know, meaning the United States. At least I don't think you are.
Yes.
So let's start there. Tell me a little bit about your history. Where'd you come from? How'd you get into painting?
Okay. I came from Guangzhou City in southern part of China, and because I grew up in the 1950s, so it means you can guess I'm old.
You grew up in the 1950s?
Yeah, 1950s. Yeah, I grew up in 1950s. And,
jeez, you don't look that old. You look young. When were you born?
52.
Really?
Yeah, so I'm 72.
You look great, dude.
Thank you.
Holy crap, man. Do you get that all the time?
Because I enjoy painting.
Yeah, I know, right?
Art is make my happy.
You got like heavy brushes. You're like, just to keep in shape, you know?
Yeah.
Dang, man. Good for you.
So I always, gratitude, because art is part of my life, and also because since I was young, I always encouraged by my father. So I grew up in the family, and in 1950, and the life, of course, is very simple. and very simple. I would say by the time in if in the standard in nowadays, and it is kind of like a poor, but by the time in China, because everyone is kind of like a poor, so I don't think so much different, because I
Right.
was and I just love drawing, is I always sketchbook in my hand because I don't have any luxury stuff. So paper and the pen, I think is my accompaniment. So
Yeah.
wherever I go anywhere.
Did you even
So
have a TV in the 50s in China?
I don't think so. No.
Yeah, so you really weren't
Uh,
distracted.
yes, and until I think 1960, I think just probably around before the Cultural Revolution.
Hmm.
So my dad, I remember got the radio. Is
That's
by the
wild.
time it's not like updated, it's kind of a menu, like I don't know how, I'm not a professional because it's really uh, very simple, the radio.
So,
And
okay, I gotta, this is sort of a tangent, but that just blows my mind. I'm looking at you. You don't look that much older than me, in my opinion.
oh no.
And yet, and yet you grew up without a TV and you
Yeah,
got a radio and just a radio, an analog radio. And
yes,
today
yes,
you and I are speaking over the internet with a crystal
yeah,
clear picture.
uh,
Is that mind
yes.
blowing to you?
Yeah, when I grow up, and it means I've been is then through the many, I would say many revolutions, because I don't know
Yeah.
how to say, different, quite totally different time period.
Yeah. One time I had a friend, well, more of an acquaintance. I didn't know her that well, but there was this woman I went to church with, and this would have been back in the early 2000s ish, maybe mid 2000s. And she was
Mhm.
getting close to 100 years old.
Wow.
And she showed me a picture of her
Yes.
next to a horse and carriage bathing in a barrel outside of her house, and there were no
Wow.
cars or anything. It was just a
Uh-huh.
horse and carriage.
Wow.
And guess where she showed me the picture?
Uh-huh.
On her smartphone.
Wow.
And I thought, what the crap? Like, this woman was born bathing in a tub and riding a horse from place to place, and now she's showing me this on her phone. It's crazy how much has changed in that. And it's cool that you've seen all that, and you're
Yes.
only 20 years older than me. I mean, I saw a lot of it too, but not that much. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, go
Good.
ahead. Sorry to cut you off. I want to hear more.
Oh, no, no, because by the time, is and because my grandma, is well, there's a kind of a long history. So my grandma, she was a Christian, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's passed in when I grew up in the family, we kind of Christians in the family. So when I was a little kid, and I remember, so every Sunday at noontime, uh, I I I went with my grandma to the
Mm-hmm.
church, and I like the song, and I was so fascinated by looking the stained glass, as the kids. I
Mm-hmm.
said, "Oh, it's so beautiful, colorful,"
Mm-hmm.
and but of course, I think is the whole family, just like most of the Chinese by the time, and during the Cultural Revolution, the time period. So you probably know it. So it's about a 10 years Cultural Revolution. So I think that really impact, and I would say to most of the families,
What is
because
that? What exactly was the Cultural Revolution for
well,
those like
Cultural
myself who don't
Revolution,
understand?
Cultural Revolution is because now if you, of course, easy, you can Google it, you can look at it. There was it is the they call it a revolution is because the idea is comes from the Chairman Mao, the party leader by the time. And the idea is he wants to build to me it's kind of like a like a crazy idea. So kind of everything complete is from the bottom to the top, because he's center, to make the movement. So all the school actually by the time we stopped, there's no school for a few years. And also you probably heard that uh, in the middle and high school, all the students, all the kids, and we call like most of them, they call like wear the red band, kind of we call like a red guard. Like a red guard, if you can, there's a bunch of the old photo picture, if you can look at the Google or something,
Mm-hmm.
there's a part of the history. So it's kind of really chaos, is everything completely changed because no school and everything. So people just want to, most of them, the idea by the time just the thing is to uh, is uh, is kind of really propaganda movement. So
Mm-hmm.
everyone just like worship, is to the we kind of Mao, Chairman Mao at the time. So
Hmm.
the
And about how
movement.
old were you when this started?
I was 13. No, 1966 start the Cultural Revolution.
Hmm.
So I was just past 14 at the
Okay.
time.
So did
Okay.
you miss out on certain schooling because of it?
Every kid's missing school, no school. So
From
the
from
school,
for the entire decade?
entire of I think 66 to 68, I think at
Oh,
least
two
about
years.
4 years. Yeah, 2 years. There's no school. So the mostly the kids in the school just follow the we call like a propaganda. The most of the kids have the we call like a red guard, movement. And in the school, the kids divided, divided. I don't know how to say it.
Divided?
Yeah, divided. It based on the class, because by the time
When you say
the
class,
idea,
you mean economic class?
not the economic, political class.
Political class.
Statute. Okay, statute. Okay, means let me explain to you.
Okay.
Because the party, by the time they believe the working class people, okay, so they call it the fighting for the benefit for the interest of the working class people to against the capitalist.
Mm-hmm.
So means after uh, during the time, I think in China, you probably know, we don't have any like a private property. Okay. And the idea is the capital is bad because it's the capitalist. They took the wealthy, and that's why you guys poor. You're poor because you your property, your things, you should own it, but actually it was taken by the rich people. Okay, for example.
This sounds really familiar.
Yeah. And
Hmm.
because I was kids, I don't know, because everyone just listen, just because by the time during the Cultural Revolution in China is really isolated. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
we don't hear anything outside of the China. We don't know anything. We only think just know what they say, what I hear the news. Okay, and so we divided like a political class means, and if my family, because the divided is the like a China liberation, because New China there's in 1949, there's Mao built up the New China. Okay, and to me, I think the idea really attract so many people, even though my father, okay, a lot of my parents' generations, because they think the new China would be much better than the old one. Because the old one, of course, is a lot of corruption, okay, a lot of corruptions. And and the the Maori idea, they say, is the fight for the working class people to make them life is much better.
Hmm.
Okay. So the idea is really encourage the people work hard, and meantime just want to worship for, if they think if I listen everything I do well, it would be good to make contribution for the nation, for the country.
Mm-hmm. So how did it
So
go?
yeah, so that's in school,
Yeah.
because we call it a political background means it's the divide based on what your family has before liberation. Okay, if your family was very poor, okay, because in China was very poor. We don't have. I don't think we have so many rich, even though they're capitalist. If in the uh, update the standard study. I mean, the wealthy, the I don't think that much, but because China was so poor. So if you have that little money, if you have your land, then you will get trouble because the majority of the Chinese people was poor by the time before,
Wait, wait,
you
wait.
know,
Did you just say if you own land and property,
if you own land means if you were landlord, okay,
you're in trouble if
you're
you own
in
land?
trouble. Yeah, if you're in
Because the
landlord.
government didn't want you to own land.
No, yes, the government thing, if you're landlord, you might hire someone to work for you, okay? Then they cause inspire the people because they think you're poor because the people has the land, that guy. And I know it's hard for you to make sense now, Jeff,
No, it's like I said, it
because
sounds
you're
kind of
because
familiar.
you because you're so lucky you grow
Yeah.
up in a society, right?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So their idea, that's why the cause, uh, and okay, for example, in the class, and we divided had the two different kids. It based on their family political background. That's
Mm-hmm.
it. My father, and who has educated. He's not from really poor because my grandma actually grew up in the village. She
Mm-hmm.
worked hard. She saved money, and then also my grandfather. I didn't have the chance to see my grandfather. My grandfather, because as far as I was told by my father, my grandfather worked for the railroad, uh, kind of like just like a job
Mm-hmm.
and to support the family. So there's my father had a chance to get the education and to leave the country, and then later get the education and stay in the city of Guangzhou. And then later he got the job, and then he teach in the Christian school, and that's before New China. But that also is caused the part of the economic political uh, history problem.
Were the Chinese was the Chinese government friendly to the Christian people?
Uh, they do allow the religion before Cultural Revolution, but as far as I don't know how to say it. If you worship your belief, that's fine, but as long as you not touch the political issue,
Mm.
okay. But during the Cultural Revolution, everything stopped, okay. No any church activities. And during the Cultural Revolution.
Mm.
Yeah, but before they allow, but after now they do, they let them to worship, whatever your religion, but
Mm.
not the Cultural Revolution during the time. So they
Mm-hmm.
stopped it. And so the kids in the school, we kind of like, because I don't understand, I don't know why. Because the kids also don't understand because we just kids, kids always love to play together, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But you don't get as much as you would like to. Sometimes you feel different, you feel isolated because I don't have, I mean, I love my kids. I love my, my classmates. They're all my, loving kids. They don't have any problem. I think the problem because is by the time they just divide, and some of if the kids, they come from the working class people, they think the working class people, it can be trust. It's a loyalty to the government. And if, for example, if your parents is well educated, that's before New China, or if you was a landlord, or if you was a capitalist, or maybe something, if you're in the, working in the bank, you're a banker, then, there's another totally different story.
So
So
if
the
you had, just to be clear, so if you had success, then the government didn't trust you. Is that what you're suggesting?
I don't know. No, I'm just talking about during the my middle school, during the
Right, right.
school.
During that period.
Yeah, during the time period. Yes.
So did the government want everyone to be working class? Was that their goal?
Uh, they we we uh we encourage, we inspire. They probably part of the propaganda. They think we always should learn from the working class people.
Mm, okay.
And to me, because they thought the working class people is much easier to listen, because working class people, they were much more appreciated, because without New China, without their good life, because the idea is they fight for the New China can give the good life to the working class people.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's the time.
Okay.
But I was too young at the time.
Yeah.
So I just the only thing I think I was happy to do it, because they know I can draw, I can paint. So during the time, the school, we need a lot, like a propaganda,
Hmm.
political painting. Okay. And I don't know if
Oh, I
yes,
pull up a
there's
picture of
one.
you
Yeah.
painting.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah, that's one of the painting I did. That was probably the end of my school year, that like around 1975, 74 or 75.
You did this painting while in
Yeah, I
high
did.
school.
Yeah. No, not in the art school, art school. So
Jeez,
after
man.
I went to the art school, yeah, because when the Cultural Revolution ended, there's before, no, 66 Cultural Revolution, and 67, 68, no school. School is just closed, stop, closed. And 68, after May of the 68, and then the high school, they become come back. There's a kind of a school they reopen for the
Hmm.
kids, but they base on your kids' family political background. If your background is not as good as another one, so you maybe go to another different countryside, we call like a re-educated, or you might send to the factory. So I was I graduate is kind of a graduate in 1970 after my couple years, working for the propaganda painting in my high school. So I graduated in 1970, and then I was assigned to the factory. I worked in the factory about a couple of years in
You were
factory
assigned by the government to work in the
by the
factory,
government. Yeah, working in the factory.
even
And
though you had all this talent. Did everyone work in the
uh,
factory?
some working in the factory, and then, I mean, what they assign to you, you don't have any question. You just listen. Whatever they assign to you, you just do it.
Hmm.
So it's better no job.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just do it. Because I know now you probably had a very natural. I had a lot of questions, right? At the time, no, I don't have any question, because well, you go, you just go. I maybe I mean, I ask myself why I had to go, but but I just disappear my thought, just let it
Guess if it's
go.
all you know, if that's what everyone's doing, you might not question it.
Yeah. I mean, I had a question, but if I think my question is no helpers, no one can answer my question. And I don't want to get into too much trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'll just do it.
Mm-hmm.
So in the what? No, but also I think it helped me to understand a lot of different things. So life is not the. So I think I'm not. Sometimes I do things not happy, not easy. But if I went through the obstacle, it helped me to have the distance, look at back now. I'm looking back because everything I did, I think actually it really helped me to understand what means about the life. I mean, not just on the shape, value, and the color, but also what means about life.
Mm-hmm.
Is another things. So I worked in the couple years in the factory, but
What did you
in
do in the factory? Were you like assembling
mostly
things or?
I do the labor chore. Okay, I lift up the heavy machine because I work in the machine factory
Oh, okay.
years. Okay,
Okay. That makes
so
sense.
there's a different job and different things. But I learned that. But now I know, even though uh, I know what the people working at the factory, I understand the people. You know, they're very friendly. Actually, the people always nice. I don't really divide,
Mm-hmm.
but just uh, so that's the reason. Oh, thank you for posting the painting.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
got a little slideshow for those watching,
yeah.
or not for those not watching. There's a slideshow of his work going as he talks.
Most of those paintings actually is from my trips. And personally, I like to I like to meet people. I think that people, that's why I like to go on trip. Trips
Mm-hmm.
help me to uh to 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 connect to the people because and also bring uh my painting is uh more connect to the people and how connect to the life situation. And because I don't know, maybe part of the because I grew up, maybe my personality, maybe my family background, because it made me to more I get to know the people is more is better for me to understand. And even though how I get the idea,
Yeah.
for the painting to tell the story,
Mm-hmm.
some the story about the people of their life. And because for example, I love why you probably see I paint a lot about the Tibetan people. And because I don't know why, because I just love their culture. My first time I went to Tibet, that was 1985. 85, my first time. By the time, and in Tibet, they still very uh, very authentic life, the people. That's what I feel. I was so lucky. I can see them. Um, a lot of wagons and a lot of things, I can see it. But now those things, you probably won't see them much. And
Mm-hmm.
over there, because now we pass from, has
It's
got so many
Western
different
now.
yeah, more Western now. Now is everywhere. You connect to internet. Now we
Mm-hmm.
have a cell phone. So even though about 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago, I already see, even though the monk in the temple, they already had a cell phone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I want to back up. I still
yes,
don't know how you got into painting. All I know is you ended up in a factory. I know
yes,
you did propaganda work while you were in high school,
yes.
but then you ended up having to work in the factory. How did you move past that and into your next stage of life, becoming a painter?
Well, first of all, I think I was every turning point to me, uh, to me, I think I'm gratitude
Mm-hmm.
for every turning point that the people help me. And the reason I can get into art school in China by the time, because that was 1972. Okay, I was in the factory, the art school in China. So there's Art Academy of Art in Guangzhou. So there's one of the biggest art school in China. Because in China we don't have that many art school. I think the whole nation probably only have the 5 art school academy.
Are they all state run?
Yes, they one, the
Hmm.
state one. But it's a really strict uh, school curriculum, systematic training program.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone have to pass through all the we call examination, 3 days of examination. Okay, uh, and
To get
from
in or to graduate?
getting
To get in. Okay.
in getting, and first you ran through all the because so many applicants from so many different regions, they submit a portfolio. So portfolio review, and then go through the highly selected from the many portfolio in order to narrow down the group of the of the people. No, I'm not saying people. They only by the time I think that the age limit, I don't know, maybe not older than 25, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Because mostly just young. So just maybe just after high school, at the time. So so they highly selected from the portfolio. Then once you are on the list, because they select maybe I don't know how many, maybe a few hundred, 200, is the people from the I don't know how many of the applicant, portfolios.
Mm-hmm.
So then be able to taking test. But I shouldn't be in on the list. And because first they require recommendation letter. So the recommendation letter, it has to be sent from my working place. So it means from my factory. Okay.
Okay.
So when I talked to my factory and I was told, I know you're so good because they already know, but I don't blame them because I know because I don't know how to say it. It's not the people but they have to do the job because of the job they require from the government. The government had the complete street standard policy. So the policy means they only recommend the people that their family political background they think is good. You probably know, what means the political family background means, and because my family background is not up to their standard. Okay, you probably know it. So they told me, Huihan, you're good personally, but as the policy, I cannot write a recommendation letter to you. So I
Hmm.
was so sad. I don't know
I
why.
don't. Okay. Can you explain to me the conflict? Forgive me because I'm so ignorant of this, but it sounds like during this period they elevated the working class. They wanted everyone. They liked everyone being working class, so they could because the working class were easy to deal with, obedient,
Mhm.
respected the
Yeah,
government.
yeah,
And yet,
yeah,
at the
yes,
same time, you're
yeah.
saying that the employees, who I assume are not the employees, the employers, who I assume are associated with the government in some way, are
Mhm,
are elevating people who already have a higher political status,
mhm,
which seems to go contrary to the earlier statement, which or not statement, but I guess what I stated earlier, that they're trying to make everyone middle class or
mhm.
the same? Why are they doing that and at the same time still elevating the upper class by giving them all the opportunities? Am I missing
Well, first,
something?
first of all, any job, any promotions, and they have to, because in China, we do have we call like, so everyone by the time has the file. The file, of course, they have the statute about your family, political background.
So
The
information, they have
background,
information
yeah,
on
the
everybody.
information is there. So the background was decided after New China. So that was the system, how they work. They call like, have different, if you come from the different uh, family background, and then you promotions and everything, you will get a difference. Um, and I don't blame for to the employer or because they just do what they have to do their job.
Okay,
The
just to be
job they
clear
want.
though, so
Yeah.
they're again, forgive me that so they're glorifying the lower to middle class at the same time giving all the advantages to the upper class.
Uh, no, first give the most advantage, give the most good job that they consider is to provide the people who has the good family background means the good I don't know, well, is the family background means it's based on how your family was before New China. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. I know what you mean by how your family. Well, no, I don't. What do you mean by how your
Yeah,
family was?
yeah.
Were they elite? I mean, are they favoring the elite families, or is
No,
there
they
some
don't. I
other
mean, no,
qualification?
no. They think elite is trouble.
Okay, so what qualification makes someone, more likely to get a letter of recommendation to an art school? I don't understand
It's
what this.
working class.
But
Yeah,
you
from
said I thought you
work
were
family.
working class.
Yeah, I was working, but my father is not working. My father is not on the
Oh,
factory.
got you. So your father was
So they
too
don't
high.
consider what I'm working. They never consider.
Okay,
So
I understand now.
that's why I don't understand. They're not based on the judgment. It's based on what
Where
that's
you come from.
me. That's based on what I coming from.
Okay, I
That's based on
misunderstood. So
what
you're
my
saying you're
yeah
saying you were middle class or working class, but your father
yeah
was one of the elite. Therefore, you missed
yes
out on advantages.
yeah they mess up. They consider look my
Ah.
father. They even look at my grandfather parents what they're doing.
So they're trying to put a halt on your family's success by throwing a wrench in your generation.
Yes yes.
Mm,
They're not based on my performance.
right. Yeah, but I mean to them you're a genetic problem maybe. I don't know. Because
You
your
got
father and grandfather are successful. They're like, we got to stop this.
now it seems like a very silly. Why?
It's interesting to
At
say
a
the
time,
least.
just
Jeez. Okay, so how did you end up getting an art education then? If you
well, I end up is because that was my turning point. Because of one of the faculty member in the art school, and later she was my teacher in my class, and she was the member of she was the committee member in the the for in the art school,
okay,
to
she made the decisions on who to take
she's
in.
one of the member, but she cannot make a decision. She's just
Oh,
one of the member. But she was the judge based on the what I did, how the kids did at the time is the examination, because we
mm-hmm.
had 3 days examination, like a drawing from figures and they call and the creation, is they give you the title
So they have you
assignment
make a painting.
and how you make a painting, like a morning or not nighttime or maybe on the street, something like this, give the title. and then you have to make an idea how to from the title,
Jeez,
just
that's
like
just to get in the art school? That's like seems
yeah.
like the last thing you would do when you're graduating from it.
No, they're not. You don't have to do it very perfect, but just want to see how you visually you can interpret
They
the
want to see
word.
your potential.
Yeah, you see, yeah, they want to see your potential.
Okay.
How you can use your imagination,
Mm-hmm.
interpret, the meaning of the words.
Mm.
And also have the written, I think simple written. And then I think it's a still life, just a couple hours, painting
Yeah.
from life, things like that.
Okay.
So and then I was qualified just as far as I know, because it based on the other examination because
Wait, wait,
but
wait. But how did you get this examination? I still don't understand because you didn't get the letter of recommendation.
okay, the recommendation first. I didn't get it. And so the member is the Zhang Tongyun, and she's my teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And she went to factory and talked to my employer and to mention about me. And because
Wow.
she looked at my portfolio, she already said, Huihan actually is qualified to be able to have the chance to take a test, you know. And my employer said because Huihan's father somehow of the history before liberation, before New China,
Right.
and he was still be educated because of my father. I remember my father at the time still working in the countryside, beside the countryside, we educated because the government say always during the Cultural Revolution,
Mm-hmm.
like people need to be re-educated. Educated means is the not learning anything, but let them do more like a labor job.
Yeah.
So my father had to learn how to feeding the pig, how to work in the farm. And this then you understand how the working class people they work,
Mm-hmm.
But my father at the time, I think during the Cultural Revolution, he already maybe early of the 60s. Okay. He's not that young, not that
Right.
young,
Right.
around 60. Okay. So maybe late 50, I would say, late 50, close to 60.
So your father had you when he was quite a bit older.
Quite older.
Yeah.
Because my father, I was this, my mom was the second wife of my father.
Mm-hmm.
And because my father, the first wife, and then give birth my sister. So my sister, her mom is when she was born, I mean, only about a few weeks, and was her mom is passed away.
Oh, that's
You
too
know,
bad.
yeah, too bad. So so my mom is the second wife of my father, and my sister is only my only one sister from different mom.
Mm.
So that's why wherever I had a chance, I I still went back to visit my sister. Now she's 85 years old. Okay, my only one sister,
Mm. Only one sibling?
only one sibling.
Okay.
And I should have my mom told me that I should, my father too, my father and mom told me that my mom I should have another old brother, but my old brothers cannot survive. Maybe I don't very young, maybe still baby and passed away.
Mm.
And my mom told me, then my mom will wait another 10 years. Then
Really?
I come to the world. So I was the only one child, only one boy in my family. So my sister and me,
Mm-hmm.
and
And is
my
your
aunt
sister still in China?
still in China. Yeah,
Okay.
85 years old, 85 years old.
Wow,
Yeah,
13 years older than you.
yeah, yes. And so this is life. And my father passed away when I was 30.
Hmm.
My mom passed away when I was 22.
Jeez Louise, man, that's rough.
Yeah. And my father has the Parkinson's. I taken care of my father about 6 years until he passed away.
Jeez.
So um, so many and different things.
Oh man.
Yeah, so that's why I work in many things, and make a little extra money. I work for illustrations. Do a little different comic storyboard. Is the illustrations and comic books and things. Because my salary at the time I worked in the art school, I think my salary only about 65 China dollar. So I cannot to for my family because I support my father.
Hmm.
So I need to hire a babysit. Otherwise, I have to quit my job. I don't have any income, right?
Jeez, man, that's rough.
So 6 years, but I was so happy. Yeah, yeah, and because I was only one boy. And so, okay, go back to so my teacher, just talked to the factory. So that's the reason I didn't get the recommendation letter. And but she insists to talk to my employer. She said, "Would you just give the chance? It doesn't mean she will be able to get the education because in the China, by the time whoever had the chance to get the education is the turning point in China because not many not many number of for the people be able to had a chance to study in the university in the academy. Now, really less number people. So that's why all the working class, no, all the job, all everything, first the priority, they give the recommend the people who think they think who has the best, you know, political background, before New China, and based on that.
Hmm.
Uh, because they said, I was told, they said, well, my employer said, if 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 I had to recommend, I had so many people to recommend rather than just to recommend Huihan. Means a lot of people, they might have a better background than me.
Mm-hmm.
But my teacher, because she's more, uh, she's, I don't know, she had a great integrity and honest people because is the artist, right? It based on total just by the ability. Because she don't think only the political background good, it doesn't mean you're the potential to be able to become, the good artist, right? It's different. If you don't have the interest, if you're not passionate,
Right.
yeah. But the employer is that they have a different point of view. They don't
Mm-hmm.
consider if your potential a lot. They
Mm-hmm.
consider because they listen what they said, in the from the government. Because they don't want to make any mistake. You know,
So they're
I,
they're
I
they're
yeah,
really
I understand.
cautious.
Yeah, they're really precautious.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want any making any trouble. Then I understand. So later, I think my teacher convinced they didn't write. I don't think had the written form, but what verbally they agree. Okay, give the chance to take. So I had the chance to take the 3 days examination. And but after I was told that um, I was passed and my examination, everything is up to the entry to the school level, among the kids.
Mm-hmm.
And Um, but the the letter means the notification of acceptance letter. They hold on because I was told that the because I think this sounds like a very political, because inside of the committee they argue it based on they still need to find out if my father was doing something not right before New China, okay, at the time, because my father during I think during the World War II, by the time maybe around 1940, 46, 45, something, because I don't even born yet.
Mm-hmm.
Because my father was only one well-educated people, okay? But
Mm-hmm.
during the World War II, because you probably know it, the Japan invade China, right?
Mm-hmm.
German invade Europe, right? Yeah, during the
Right, of
World
course.
War II.
Yeah.
So all the people they float, they gone. So the county, I mean the county in my hometown, in my grandma, my father's hometown. So the county member doesn't know anyone to work with to make service for the local people. And so my father just happened to come back to his hometown because we from the village.
Mm-hmm.
And the people be considered, because my father can read, can write. In China at the time, not many people they don't know how to read and write. So I think education is one of the things, because if the people you don't know how to write. I mean, more people they don't know how to read and write, the easier you can listen what they say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You mean the easier you can control them? Is that what you're saying?
Easier you can control them.
Right.
Yeah, the government easier you can say, okay, because you don't know, you don't have any source to read to
Right.
fight,
Right.
you know,
You can tell
because
them whatever you want.
yeah, they tell you what you want. Yeah. And they're nice people, but just easy be controlled.
Right.
And they recommend, they asked my father if you will be happy to be volunteer, do something for the village. My father, of course, my father very generous, very happy, very do things for good for the people. Okay. And my father doing, I think, only about a few months. So that few months, I think about 3 months, and then become the history problematic in my father's file, because every working place we have the personal file.
Right.
Okay. And then so the art school they look at that question because they're scared if my father has the problems not be able to rely on it, if they issue the letter, I'll be able to get into it, they might also get in trouble. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So my teacher, actually, I really appreciate my teacher.
So she really went out on a limb for
Yeah.
you.
And she doesn't think, for instance, she said, well, just let me to find out what is the truth. Let me find out the fact. If Huihan's father had do something to hurt the country at the time during World War II, or do something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So my teacher is went to my father's working place. And because of course, bring the letter from the academy. And then because you need to have the letter, otherwise the people don't allow you to look in the file. Okay. And like a personal file. So he had a chance to look at through and one by one very detailed and did not find anything about my father's any problematic of the history. Only thing just
Mm.
said my father at the time only help any just the volunteer be working the job in the county to help the village people to
Okay.
maintain the you know, the normal activities at the time.
So let me know if I'm correct here. So what it sounds like is these employers
Mhm.
who obviously have to keep the government happy.
Yes, they have to, otherwise they lose their job, I
Right,
think.
right. It sounds like, or maybe worse. But
Yeah, maybe worse.
yeah, so okay, so they're worried about their jobs and their futures and they have to keep the government happy. And it sounds like what you're saying is that in most cases they just for probably nothing more than ease in the decision making process, they just assume that if someone is educated and successful, that they probably were causing or can or were causing problems.
Yes.
And so this woman went out on a limb and said, well, there is a chance that just because he can read and write and he's educated, that doesn't mean he's a troublemaker. Let's go make sure he's not a troublemaker. And then we
Yeah.
can get his son, into this school. So
Mhm.
it's not so much that they're worried about the money. They just use that. They use that and make the assumption
Mhm.
that because they're educated, they're probably troublemakers.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Man, your teacher was something else. She really believed in
Oh,
you.
yeah. So that's why I always remember, appreciate it, and because I doesn't know her, okay, and only based on she just look at my portfolio and looking and what I have been doing, is that taking the examination.
Well, in
But
that case, so it wasn't about caring about people. It sounded like she cared about art and making sure the right
she
people
care about the
had
art, and
opportunity.
also she's really uh trusted people, and she always think things have to be fair,
Okay.
have some reason. And so she bring back the letter to show to the employer.
The
And
letter that proved your
the
father was
letter
not a
proved to
troublemaker.
confirm my
Yeah.
father is the good citizen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's not any make trouble to the government, not any trouble making bad things for the
Mm-hmm.
country.
Mm-hmm.
And so finally, and the issue, the letter that was not sent by mail because my teacher told them, because she said, well, I just take the letter, just bring the letter to the employer. So my employer reads the letter and then tell me, and then I was told that I was accepted, and I was so through. Is the it
But your teacher delivered it by hand or came and picked it up by
deliver
hand.
my teacher deliver by hand to my employer. That's what
All
my
right.
employer told me.
Is it just me or the rest of you guys also get weirdly excited when you order new paint? Because I don't know about you, but when I get paint in the mail, it feels like Santa just dropped my Christmas presents off at my doorstep. With Vasari paint, my paint of choice and the podcast sponsor, it's even more exciting. And let me show you why. Because when Vasari shows up, it comes in this incredible box where each tube lays in this little compartment perfectly formed around the tube in this nice soft foam. And it's surrounded by velvet, red velvet. Now you got to ask yourself, if a paint comes so carefully protected and surrounded by red velvet, you got to wonder if this paint is worthy of royalty. It is. Vasari is. So if you haven't tried Vasari, you're seriously missing out. And the thing about Vasari, it's not only the best paint out there, it's also made by an incredible company that's been around for 30 years and knows its customer by name. Do yourself a favor, go to vasaricolors.com and order yourself some for your next painting. So
Yeah.
what about your employer? Did you get the sense that your employer was glad it all worked out for you?
Well, I would say I got to tell you, my employer personally, he's happy, but he cannot openly.
Jeez Louise, man, that's wild.
You say this is why I feel the life is, I because I've been went through people are nice. I don't divide people, but I understand them why, because some they have to maintain their position, their job, and other things because they are not because they're not and I don't know how to say it. Uh, yeah, I think
So you think your employer believed that you deserve this and was
personally,
was likely happy that it all worked out for
yeah,
you,
likely happy personally I can feel.
but had to keep it sort of
Yeah,
quiet.
but she cannot just open it to say it because they probably is not good for for his job performance.
Man, oh man,
Right?
that's wild.
So by the time in China, I think I always appreciate a lot of good people personally.
Of course.
I
Yeah.
understand people. They truly understand you. And so to me, I think it's the turning point. Otherwise, I won't get the chance to study and have to get the formal training in China.
Okay,
Okay.
so you got into the school then.
Yeah.
How did you graduate? Did you get through the whole program?
Yeah, I graduated and I was so happy during the school year because the whole class, we only have the 15, 15 kids. And
15.
yeah, 15. We all just
When you
around
say a class, do you mean that age group or do you mean a particular drawing or painting
know,
class?
the number of the student in my class, because my major is the oil painting.
So there were
We
only 15 oil painting students in the whole
got only
school.
15 oil painting students in the year. And
Wow.
yeah,
And
and
China,
yeah,
the
and
population of China is huge even then, right?
yeah, but in China we don't. That's why it's unpopular education in China. Very limited, very limited.
Hmm.
And of course, is the government sponsor, government funding. Because once you get into it, and we stay in the dormitory, so we pay for everything. I would say, just that they pay for it.
The
We stay,
government pays for everything.
yeah, they pay for everything, food, and just like uh, some kind of like a military, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
training camp. Just that we stay and whole week, and if your family inside the city, so you can take a break during the weekend. Only one day, but you got to come back. And
Oh my
Sunday
gosh, man.
night,
So
yeah.
why would the government spend money to I mean, I know it's only 15 students per year in this particular school, but why would they spend any money on an artist? What did the government have need for artists? Did they have a plan for you 15?
Well, very simple. The con they spend the money, they are funding to educate people. Of course, the idea is that they want the people to be educated and to make a great contribution for the nation, for the country.
As defined by them, whatever
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Okay.
that's what they want. That's what they want. They spend the funding. And that's one because propaganda painting is a requirement at the time. Okay, if for example, if you're state artist, you're a school teacher, yeah, something like what I did. This I was still in high school at the time. I did that one. Uh,
So this is a
the
propaganda painting.
second
This is
line,
what
the
you're talking
second
about.
line to the second line, the second to the left, that was my high school teacher.
Yeah. The bald
Okay.
one?
Yeah, and then the bottom, the first, the first one, the right one, that's me.
Okay. Right,
Okay.
basically directly under the figure in the painting.
Yeah. So I was
Yeah.
yeah, and I think I got it. Yeah, I painted during the time there was the
And what are you
modern.
guys holding?
It's the red book. is a Mao Zedong slogan. You got like a Chairman Mao. Did you, Jeff? Did you know that Mao slogan?
No, no,
No,
of course not.
share with you. Yeah, very interesting. Mao slogan, I call now is like uh, I don't know how to say. It's kind of in. It's kind of like a new Bible. Okay, so and means that all the slogan means the is a condensed from Mao Zedong, his written all the different article. Mostly is the political idea, propaganda, and everything. The idea just like a Marxism, and all the political idea. And
So this is what you were all supposed to believe, is what you're saying.
suppose everyone believed during the Cultural
And
Revolution.
why do you carry it? Is that a
They
way just
require, most at the time is the popular. They require. If you take a picture in the photo studio, probably I maybe I don't have I didn't send you another one. I had another family picture taken in
no,
1967.
I don't see
My
it.
family maybe 1 year. Then everyone they give you, if you didn't bring, they give you when you take a picture. Means everyone at the time have the worship to Chairman Mao. Okay,
So you're
means
just you're just protecting your own rear ends by always making sure you have that with
yeah,
you.
yeah, always with you. Whatever you really inside you believe a lot, but it's the, I would say, kind of a gesture.
Wow.
But this is fun, funny history. Yeah. So you see,
Do you
and this,
remember this picture being taken?
that's taken in 1968.
No kidding.
1968.
But you remember it. Do you remember this day?
The day in summertime, I don't remember is exactly what day.
No, no, no. I'm just saying you remember the event of getting the picture taken.
Taking picture taken, yes.
Yes, you do. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, that was because
Whoops. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
yeah, at the time, you see the background is the Chairman Mao, Mao Zedong.
and who
Uh,
painted that? Did you paint that?
yeah, I think that I and my high school teacher.
The guy in the second from the left.
Yeah, second from the left.
No kidding,
Yeah, I
man. Oh
was in the
man.
I was in the first to the right, so only two.
Down,
And
crouched down. You're on the right.
yeah,
Yeah.
the crowds and everyone, and they were my classmate. They came to visit us at a
Mm,
day, so we were taking picture. Yeah, that's one of the.
okay. All right.
Yeah.
So you went to school. You finished school. Uh, you're obviously not painting propaganda paintings today. What happened? How did you end up in America? How'd you end up doing what you're doing here?
Okay. After I probably a little bit continuing. So after I graduate in the academy, okay, Fine Art Academy.
Mm-hmm.
So they still during the Cultural Revolution. Okay, that was 1975. 1975, and I was sent back to the, I don't know how to say it because kind of like the bureau of the factory.
Okay.
Bureau of the factory means I'm not doing the daily working class job.
Were you in
They
management?
want me, yeah, they want me to manage kind of about the propaganda, how to use uh, the visual, art and something. So I was doing because the bureau, we manage a lot of different factory, okay, different factory. And also each factory we call like I have uh, the workers, I don't know how to say it. Let's see. So each factory, somehow they are the different group of the people. If you have the interest of painting and drawing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they arrange for you, and sometimes they give you the chance be able to like a few days take a break, doing something. Let's say sometimes they do have the like exhibitions. Of course, it's the propaganda exhibition, but of course, and anyone like most, of course, it's the amateur, okay, amateur. They interest about painting, and then so my job was to connect with for those different places to organize if there any show anything, and then to put together, okay. But I don't have any time opportunity to paint. I remember one time my employer told me, Huihan, I didn't see you for the last few days. Where did you go? I said, well, I just went to another working place because my job was I want to connect to them. And then I just bring my ping box. and and he wasn't happy.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, Huihan, I'm not, you walk in here, you're not artist. I don't want you just doing painting in here. I want you just do the job, just to organize, to arrange the exhibition or something, I ask you just do whatever I ask you to do it. And I don't have anything to say because I know this is what they why they're asking. Because I thought, well, because my major is the oil painting, I graduate, then I should paint, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
my job, that's part of my learn. And 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 he told me, no, 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 you just do what I'm asking you to do. Okay. If you want to paint, you just in your in your own time, not in the when you do the job, you just do it.
Hmm.
Well, I only had the chance during the time. I think I worked in the 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 years. I work in the bureau after I graduate because still the government assigned me to do it. I was happy, not so bad, even though I miss. I love to paint, but I don't have the time. But but another things I learned about the life, of course. And but by the time my father was getting very sick because he has the Parkinson's. So I work to support my family. And by the time I think is and I was so happy also another turning point to me because this is very personal my family life because my father, I was only one boy of my family. So it really makes sense because my father very concerned about my marriage. She always concerned, ask me if I had a girlfriend or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And and finally, I think yeah, and someone just introduced several of the girls something, but we don't have any. I don't have the any common uh, common sense, is but until I met my wife, Wei Liang, and part of her family background is similar to my family. So we easy a lot the same things, and talk about it, because my wife, her lost her father, then she was 13 years old.
Wow, you do have similar story.
Yeah, similar.
Yeah.
Oh, we have a lot of connection. We have a lot of things about the life. We have a lot of things about a lot of different issues. And
Mm-hmm.
also, she knows my father got sick. By the time she working in the factory, she was working in the mattress, like a cigarette, right?
Oh,
Fact,
matches like
mattress factory,
lighting fire matches.
lighting fire,
Okay.
dangerous factory.
Mm-hmm.
She working in about 8 years, but because the background and we have a lot of things in common. She had a really compassion, empathy to my father. She always come after her work. She visit. She come to see me and to see my father. My father,
Mm.
by the time she was sick on the bed. Okay, so that's at the time I was got a very emotional support from my wife,
Mm.
and
That's
also
great.
my father was very happy. I know my father had peace of mind.
Mm-hmm.
And it's finally we didn't have the because we didn't have the time, a lot of things to get the formal marriage. But my father also know, and she will be my wife. She was happy. So until my father passed away was 83, no 82. So my marriage was 83
Mm.
after. So after but I was 1979. I left the working bureau because at the time the art school, that was the after Cultural Revolution. So after Cultural Revolution, after Mao Zedong died, I think China become change, become open door, become a lot of learning from Western. So that was a really happy time to me. I think you probably heard Deng Xiaoping at the time. They opened the Chinese not as much as like only about the political that time, but it's more openly at the time. That's what this in 1980 by the time. So the art school they need more teacher. Then I was lucky, had a chance. They invite me to, back to the academy to teach. So I got the teaching job over there. I taught because in the Academy of Art in Guangzhou, we also had they call it art school. Uh, they call it a preparatory art school attached to the academy. Do you understand the meaning?
Yeah, they had like a primary school,
Preparatory school.
preparatory school that prepped you for the more advanced school.
Yeah, advanced. So
Yeah.
mostly is the strategy foundation training.
Okay.
Okay. So that school about 3 years training, and then plus another 3 years is the academic training.
All
So
just art.
all just art, but mostly the preparatory is most focused, not the major. They're not divided to the really specific major, but what we teach is the the basic drawing. A lot of time had drawing from learning from drawing from cast. The cast.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that one. You probably see it. I had the cast on the
Oh, let
background.
me look here.
Yeah, and
Oh,
uh,
I'm on the wrong screen here. Hold on.
let me bring something.
No, we see it. We see it.
Yeah,
Yep. Yep.
I like this, something like this. So learning how to understand, if the line from the one single, where the shadow, where the halftone, where the bone structure, all and then how you simplify. I think John Asaro had is a perfect example. When you understand the form, you see organic is kind of round, but you really have to understand to connect all those points, right? You connect by the strap, kind of like symmetric, simplify, all they connect on different points
Mm-hmm.
by the right angle. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it really help you understand from the shape, different turning, and to how the round, the form.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of stuff you focused on in
That's
your
kind of
early.
the focus on the preparatory, the training,
Right.
to understand, be able to understand how the cube, uh, box, cylinder, and then
And you did that for 3 solid years.
No, that's part of the training, but 3 years is included for many different training, drawing and still life, figure, figurehead, and torso, full figure drawing, and color study, composition,
Mm.
and plus plein air and watercolor, gouache,
Wow.
yeah, and all different media.
Wow.
Even though learning how to use the uh, even though watercolor and then Chinese brush and Chinese brush painting, we all learn the different mediums, but not divided, not yet to specific any major. But after 3 years preparatory, the student has to take examination again for the higher level, the academy. So academy is to become divided oil painting major, printmaking major, a sculpture major, graphic design, interior design.
Mm.
So
Wait,
it's
interior designers had to go through that
interior
drawing
design.
program too?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Really?
yeah. It's the foundation training, even though the
Okay.
interior design. I mean, it's the you don't have to be draw like more like a fine art, but at least you have the knowledge.
Right.
You learn,
So
you
who
know.
decided what your major was? Was that the student or the
It based
school?
on your performance. It based on they see your potential.
Okay.
So someone maybe your talent is more on the design side, and for the color design, maybe uh, maybe is or printmaking. Printmaking means you're more simple, basic value, mostly black and white, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have too much less about the color and relationship, but mostly it's just the simple, strong shape
Right, right.
and so in different major. But for someone, you can be interested in different way. I mean, even though your major, for example, me, I major oil painting, but my interest also a lot of different interests.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoy the lot, even though maybe I don't have the time to practice. But I know I don't know how to appreciate it because
Mm-hmm.
all the good art, they always related. So
Mm-hmm.
the more you open it, I think you more you can see the connection. Also, it helps you to explore a little bit more experiment if you like to, you know,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of things you can connect. So if you're looking back the history, I love the history, I love a lot of different things. Take for example, like uh, Christoph Klimt, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's a really good example. You see, he went through so many different stage of the painting.
Mm-hmm.
He's the first very classic representation and turn it to the more decorate, Art Nouveau, the time period, right? And but beautiful, beautiful. Use a different material, different things. But his painting never lose the humanity and the spirit of the human. It's not pure, just only the pattern, but he's how to blend together. And after later of his work is tend to be more expressionist, more go
Yeah.
back to more paintbrush stroke work. Yeah,
Right.
different. Like Sorolla, for example, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can see how the from the very well representational painting goes to the later of the very well beautiful design and for the beach scene, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And take for example, like even though John Singer Sargent may not change that much radically for style, but Sargent also is my hero too. I love his even though I love not just only painting, I love his personality. He's so challenge yourself actually. I don't think you only consider his the portraiture. He gave up about 10 years not doing any portrait,
Hmm.
Sargent, right?
I didn't know that.
even though during his the much high demanding, beautiful portrait commissions, he always took day off, to paint in the summertime.
Yeah,
Summertime,
his
he
beautiful
draw a lot of
watercolors and stuff.
watercolors and a lot of things. Yeah, and I remember Sergeant said, "You cannot enough sketches. Sketch everything to keep your curiosity fresh."
Hmm.
Yeah. So anything, just how you keep, just anything. I mean, sketch just like a keep you warming up your hands, just like a violinist, practice anytime, just keep your may not just it's different brain training. Of course, studio painting, there's another different brain.
Yeah, no
A
kidding.
different idea. Yeah. But all I think it helps.
Yeah.
For example, like a music, right? It really helps to bring the feeling, or maybe if I'm looking for like the theme of the painting. Let's see, some painting maybe could be more storytelling, the situation. Some painting maybe you want to convey a bit more, just like a combination of the theme, just like a more musical.
Hmm.
So it is a lot more open avenue.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, the preparatory, I talked about a few years, only focus. So mostly is I went through all those fundamental, all the foundations. So no matter what, I think foundation is not destroy you, because people think the more I learn, sometimes it's kind of like I'm inside of my box. Then I don't think the the trouble is not because you know that. The trouble because you haven't opened your box.
Right.
Yeah, you cannot bring that. Yeah, it really depends on how individual, how you, if you still want to keep learning, self-grow always is there, always there. But the
Yeah, it's an
foundation,
interesting argument. It'd be like
yeah.
a poet that says, you know what? I don't want a higher vocabulary because I don't want it to hurt my creativity. It makes absolutely no sense. Like if you if you open up your vocabulary, you just open yourself up to more things to say, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes,
it's a strange,
yeah.
strange thing that a lot of people buy into that whole
Uh,
way of
I
thinking.
I think two things. Creativity is very interesting because we can take every single words, but we all come out. People have to come out in total different uh, interpretation. You know what I mean? Sometimes the communication is like this. We all can. How you define creativity is, to me, I think creativity is not just I just want to do something. I just want to do it. I mean, yes, creativity is, but to me, I think more some things and beyond that is something you're doing is the somehow, I don't know how to explain.
Isn't it
Sometimes I think,
creativity using, and this is the way I look at it. It's finding unique solutions to problems.
oh yeah, yeah, you can use that way. Yeah, unique way is something different and something that is not that you always use the same way, or maybe uh, you haven't done that before, and
Hmm.
somehow, but it's not as simple because how to find it's very difficult to explain about the art sometimes. And I think because the more you understand, the more things you have. I think the creativity maybe is more spontaneously.
Hmm.
Naturally, is you think is a guide you to try it, you can experiment. But I don't, to me, I always think just maybe just only apply to me. I don't have any judge to others.
Right.
To me, I always think, uh, let's see, I the blend of the paper. Sometimes I just dash, have the different things, the color I mix, I clean up, I put it down, more abstract, something. Sometimes this is I don't have any purpose. I just do it to let it go. I just want to lose, but because I like the color, after I paint it, I clean my color palette. I love the very mix, and all the neutral color. I don't have any particular purpose. So am I say I'm going to do explore or any creativities? I don't know. I cannot tell you. I don't have any specific idea. But my sense, I just want to see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I just do it. So next morning I go back to see it. Oh, something. I look at that. Some of the pattern, maybe the texture or some stroke, the movement. I want reminds me something image. Maybe I can try to indicate or something the shape on the very pure abstract background. Maybe I can do it, or maybe I can see the face on the figure, maybe the gesture of the figure, or maybe somehow then I want to see it, I want to try it. Or maybe if you call this the creativity, then maybe I don't know. But something that maybe this is not I normally do it, and maybe I can try it.
This episode is brought to you in part by Rosemary Brushes. If you're one of my listeners who's a professional artist, you're already using Rosemary Brushes. But for the rest of you, come on. Take your work a little more seriously. Stop buying the other brands. It's just not worth it. Every now and then you may get lucky and buy a good brush from another brand, but use the brand that professionals like myself are using. Go to rosemaryandco.com, link in the description or the show notes, and get yourself some quality brushes before your next painting.
So
That's a
to
good
me,
segue. I think it's
yeah,
time to
this is
start
what
looking at
I
your work.
think. That's what my creativity. I'm not saying I'm
Mhm.
not. Okay, people are so different.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
Like I said, good segue. I think we need to start looking at your work here.
okay.
Again, it's just extraordinary. And I'd like to know a little bit about your process. I mean, you've talked about creativity,
Okay.
and I almost said creative process, but I actually mean more of your technical process. How do you put a painting like this together?
Okay. First of all, the reference this I think I got it from many years ago. There was a rodeo. Yeah, rodeo.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a good day because I took many pictures many years ago. I would say probably yeah, but from time to time I always like to look at all the old photo picture. Mostly, I think to most of the people, particularly for the audience, obvious there's the subject matter, right? There's the very typical, very common, very casual, very in the day, just a little cowboy kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
On the horse, and there's a subject matter. But to me, I think I always thinking for design. Well, I love the picture beyond the subject matter. I like the size contrast. I think that's cool because I didn't see that many Western artists. I admire so many great cowboy artists,
Mm-hmm.
great, wonderful painter, really inspire me. But also I want to do something a little different way because that's me. I always want to do something from life, but also I don't want to obvious many people already done that before. And to me, I think a little boy, big horse, small and big, I think kind of a very visually impact is very abstract. So that's the photo, that's the picture appeal to me to catch my attention. That's
Is this
first.
from one photo where these little,
The one photo, the boy and the horse,
and then you
but the
added the other
background,
horses?
I add other for the story. Okay. And I add background. The
Do you do
only
anything? Do you do anything with linear perspective, or do you just you base the scale of the other horses on just instinct?
I mostly I pay attention on the scale.
I'm not. I don't understand. What do you mean?
Yeah, on the scale, the charcoal. But I do a lot of small studies. Okay, let me.
So you're doing it instinctually. You're not doing a linear perspective drawing or anything.
I do something, but more may not too accurate. So let's see something.
Okay.
So many those like
Jeez
studies.
Louise, man.
So all those color studies and other different things. Yeah. I don't
Wow.
know.
Yeah. Let's see some of those.
Yeah, I have so many stuff. But on this one, let's see. Somehow, yeah, I do. I think the last time you mentioned on this one, yeah, this is the color study.
Oh, that's the color study for that.
Study, yeah,
Yeah, that's gorgeous.
the color studies.
So
Uh,
you're even though you have a color photograph, that's where you're doing most of your color decisions and editing in the color study.
yeah, this is the color study. Yes, because
That's great.
most of the reference is most I would say for joy,
Right.
the
Proportion.
shape, the proportion, but not the color. Color mostly to me, I think is bit to connect to the feeling, what I'm looking for. So
Mm-hmm.
color palette is more connected, just like a music, right? You listen to music is that you listen uh Chopin, piano, right? And different notes, different melodies. And sometimes you think it may be very soft, sometimes it's very strong, different movement. So I think the color will help me.
So the proportion, you're comparing the proportion to the melody
Yeah,
and the
yeah,
color to the how how you emphasize that melody or
yes. Yeah,
de-emphasize.
yeah. Like on this one, I told you I did two different color palette. So one
Look at
color you
that.
probably see a little different.
Which one did you choose?
I choose the bottom one.
No kidding. They both are successful.
Yeah, I just see what different. So
Wow.
those color studies, I
Are
think,
these oil?
is oil. Yeah, it's oil. Yeah, some of those, sometimes I do a little different way, but this one I just did it, but I haven't done yet. Yeah, no, I haven't done yet. Yeah.
Wow.
Uh, um, but this, you mentioned that one, that was the color
Yeah,
study.
that's nice.
Yeah, that was the color study.
Do you ever
Uh,
sell these color studies?
uh, not really.
No? Man, I bet you could.
Those, but because it helped me to see the direction.
Right. I mean, but when the painting's done, I mean.
Yeah, I won't do it until I have the image in my head.
Right.
As a studio painting, I don't want to. Sometimes I think if I don't have the image in my head, I cannot project what I'm looking for. I just hold on, I just hold on. And so many painting, I working sometimes at least about 3 or 4 different. So I'll show you later in some other painting. But it helped me to get a fresh eye,
Right.
get a fresh eye. This is multiple figure. Yeah, this.
Jeez. I love the simplicity of it. You're
Yeah.
really just working out shape and
You're
color.
talking about the multiple figure. So multiple figure for design, like a foreground, background, and midground, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they help me to how design, mostly just the pattern. So actually the idea is more abstract. So the
Yeah.
underneath, so I never have to argue that people always want to make a contra, to argue about the abstract representation. So to me, I think a lot of beautiful representational painting, what I see in the museum around 18th and 19th century, all the historical representation, beautiful paintings. Design, the composition is beautiful abstract.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
That's sometimes the hardest part.
yeah. So, but the color study, I think it really helped me to with a good design.
Wow.
This is the most
Yeah,
preferred.
they're not very detailed at all. It's just, yeah, you're right. It's just design, just
Yeah,
very
just the
abstract.
design. Yeah, just the design.
Huh.
Because if the your design, if you have a problem for the design, it's not worth it. You just keep doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, artists are different. Someday, because I still, no matter what the time I spend, I like my painting still connect to feel like from life. It's more kind of connect to the plein air. Of
Hmm.
course, more deliberate
Right.
thought and processing. And then technically add more layer, more color paint, and just the different this way. But
So are you saying you don't want to over prepare in your sketch
I
because you want more of a spontaneity in your painting?
mostly I want to maintain the between.
The what?
I want to maintain the between the spontaneously and then really tight focus.
Oh, right, right.
Yeah. So if I think I need to nail it down, mostly I think the character. There's no matter what no matter what sometimes I want to try, but to me, the figure, the character, uh,
You mean the character of the painting or a particular character
character,
in the painting?
the character in the painting.
Okay.
Okay, the character from the reference what I pick.
Oh.
Okay, no matter what the emotion, the feeling,
So you're saying you choose like a main actor to focus
I
on?
choose the main character. The character, even though when I'm shooting, I take a picture.
Hmm.
Um,
So in this case, it would be
I don't,
obviously the front, the
yeah.
horse and the kid.
Okay, go back to this one. That picture, what I told is that he's not posing to me. The kids never, I never asked the kids to posing,
Oh,
but she just happened to just there. She doesn't know what I'm taking. I just taking, just from distance. So always, I think spontaneous, casual
right.
is the best. Is the best. Yeah. Then just too posing. I don't want to be too illustrated.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be more spontaneous, just and alive. But after the idea, I want to share with you about it. But actually, the painting I spend a lot of time because I want to maintain the paint applications on the horse.
Is there one? Oh, I thought you wanted to see another painting. You're talking about this painting.
Yeah, this painting, if you look at closely,
Yeah, that paint application is
yeah, the paint
gorgeous.
application. And also, I want to keep the ground. If you look at all the rocks, everything, I want to keep the more suggestive.
Yeah. You see canvas through here. It's very,
Yeah, very suggestive.
very simple.
Yeah, very simple. I use a lot color light. Actually, I like to mix. I use it so many different brush, color light, paper towel, finger,
Hmm.
whatever I think it works. Yeah, and I like to maintain in the light, very in pastel, dry brush and texture. Texture paint, I think, is most interesting. I love it.
Me too.
But not everywhere, but not everywhere. Sometimes I still like to keep the shadow because the shadow is mostly receding, right?
Mm-hmm.
More simple, quiet, but the texture is much more fun. Yeah, I'm happy for the horse actually.
That horse is really beautiful.
Also,
Keep looking at the musculature right through here. It's just really
it's fun.
beautifully painted.
So I paint the person.
Mm-hmm.
Like paint, the human body. And also had the fun for me to paint the elements, very uh, uh, very all those elements.
Animals.
Yeah,
Yeah. Man, yeah, that's just beautiful.
this one.
So this one is, man,
This, yeah, I think did I show you the study on this one? Yeah,
I
I
don't
think
know. Oh, it's a slideshow. Where's the still here? I don't think you have one of that. Man, oh man, look at that. Jeez
Uh,
Louise. Where did
uh,
you find a character like this, or did you set it
okay,
up?
the character is the guy is my friend Lyle Bright. He's the Pablo, Taos Pablo.
The
Okay,
house what?
he is in Taos Pablo.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and I get to know him. I get to know Lyle many years. And first time because I had a chance to when I teach painting workshop in Taos, and at least to find Lyle to be the model in the class. So since then, we get to know so well. And I love his image, his the bone structure, everything, his spirit. Also, plus because the more I get to know him, the more I bring the feeling to me, then I know how to paint what would be the best angle to convey his the personality. Because Lyle had the time to share with me. I had the time. I don't take. I if possible, I don't want to take the person just like a model because I want to do the painting, just a shooting and just do it.
Mm-hmm.
And we always have time to sit down. We had time to share few things. He talked about his personal family life and how he's changed himself. He used to be alcohol, okay? How he quit, how he determined to change himself, how he discovered his the talent, is the great jewelry making lion.
No
He
kidding.
opened his the jewelry, at a gift shop in the plaza in Taos, in Taos.
Hmm.
So if anyone, I think any chance you guys, I think go to visit, is beautiful jewelry making, and I buy some of the items, and I visit the shop, and by the time, and then that's what when I work in the painting, actually, I didn't because for the painting, I went there, from time to time, I always like to recharge myself. That's from a few years ago in winter time. I asked Lyle, hey, I want to go back. And if possible, if you have a few days off, may I ask you to be my model? And then something, I just skip the sort of the idea.
Hmm.
But then I went there with my wife. So my wife always be with me, if the another pictures and something is dry. So winter time, I went to Taos. There was a slowing many days. And then I was kind because before I checking what weather somehow is that in a sunny day, but I was there. There was a slowing for many days, and I wasn't quite sure if I'll be able to have a chance to take a picture if the all day long in the snowing. But first I went to this the inside of the mountain range in uh, Rancho de Taos. You've probably been to Taos, right?
I haven't. No.
Rancho de Taos, outside of the Taos proper, like the and Lyle has he has the uncle because I asked him if possible I want to get the horse.
Mm-hmm.
So first day we want we kind of like location text because I had looking for the location. There might be good place for the photo shoot.
Mm-hmm.
I always do that. I'm thinking I'm kind of like I enjoy direct. I'm working more like a fun, like a director.
Yeah.
It's fun, just as a certain idea and see if I can work on. So I went there. I said, okay. And Niall is said, yeah, okay. My uncle had the horse. It's inside the venture details. So the first day we went there, I drove my SUV and follow Niall, and then he drove. But because the day was snowing and the mud, I cannot get in the mud much more because they stick, the wheel cannot move. So
Mm.
we stop. We only walk in by foot, okay? And we're working all the children, all the founder, and finally, and I had a chance to visit his uncle, okay, to see the horse. Yeah, I know it. So, and I know the location. So the next day, then we come back, we go back, but still once while in the snow. But the day is kind of clear, a little clear, still cloudy day. So we went to get a horse, and then I took many pictures and something, but mostly just randomly, because I didn't have the particular idea what he should do.
Right.
Sometimes I don't, well, painting like this, very simple, because many years my experience that sometimes I had a certain really clear idea. I want the model to be holding the gesture like this. I know the light, what I'm looking for. I really know what the cast the shadow might be to the right and to the left. Okay, because I already had the preliminary study that what I'm looking for. Then I might take a picture and ask the model to pose as close as possible to my idea. Okay, so this is because I already had the certain kind of idea,
Right.
and so mostly it's already there, but I just need the reference. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and another things mostly I would take just I don't have any perception or any concept already, but I want to just openly let go. Maybe later I can find it because spontaneously there are a lot of things out of my box. Let me explain to you. I see I can do it, repeat again the good conversation. But if always from my image, if I done about 10 paintings, you probably see relatively the conversation similar. And I don't want my painting is more like a formula. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know how to do it. I know how to do it. I can do 10, I can do 15, but just not much fun, Because
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to just maybe I turn this way, maybe turn this way, maybe turn this way.
Oh, I know.
Maybe,
I'd be so
uh,
bored. Yeah.
you know. So sometimes I just let it go. I don't just let them to be openly. Then I don't have any expectation.
Mm-hmm. And that's
Okay.
what happened here.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
happened there. Yeah. So finally, I think I was lucky because I get about 30 minutes open window of the late afternoon light
Yeah. Tell me about the light.
shooting.
Is it really like this? Because it feels like there's a spotlight on him.
Yeah, the light and late afternoon light. Okay. And mostly that's from the figure that's on the light, but the picture, the foreground still in the light.
Okay. So you
Okay.
you obviously
I,
edited that
I
then.
obvious to redesign because the every light to be there will be distract the light. I want to maintain the only strong spotlight that's on the rope on the right on
Yeah. Yeah. It looks very
the,
theatrical.
yeah.
Is there's a word? Is it tenebrism? Have you heard
Which
the
one?
term tenebrism?
Uh-huh.
You have? Yeah. And I think that I'm going to show my ignorance again, but what is it? T E P. I'm going to get my microphone out of the way.
Mhm.
Yeah. Tenebrism right here. Um,
Yeah.
basically what I understand is
Yes.
where you focus the light into one area. Rembrandt did it all the time.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
And
Some
it's not
kind of
natural,
idea.
but it looks right in a way, and no one
Mhm.
questions it. But yet it's a way of focusing your attention on a particular area of the painting or the character that
Focusing
you
on
want.
the idea,
Yeah.
focusing on the concept.
So this I would definitely say would be that with that tenebrism that you're
Yeah,
doing.
yes. Yeah, I think it's the right to explain. Yeah,
Yeah.
so everything I just tone it down and give the weight to the things that I think the most I need to speak uh, to catch the eye attention. So the background and everything actually I toned it down darker and then simplifying, and the light pattern that's on the figure. So mostly I think it kind of like yeah, as what you said, like a physical, just on the lighting design
Mm-hmm.
on this one.
Yeah. And you've got some really, really intense blues in here.
Yeah, I exaggerate actually.
Yeah, no, you must have, because my assumption is that the sky is, well, from here at least, it looks like the sky is gray.
Yeah,
So you'd have to exaggerate those blues because it's not coming from the sky,
yeah,
but
the
it's
sky.
really beautiful.
Yeah, the sky actually I just added. I added more perspective. It's not from the actual photos.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the mountain, but I create is I just to give more perspective, and then
Yeah.
a little indicate a little ice pattern, just near the you probably see the trees, the dark trees against a little light pattern. Just to indicate there was the snowing day, there was kind of a ice pattern, just a little, because the light
Yeah.
is out of balance with the light of the figure, just only feel light. So,
What was the reasoning? And I'm not questioning you because I like it. That's why I want to know. But what was the reasoning behind making the horse almost disappear into the background? I mean, it's such a bold decision right here.
and first of all, I think I like the horse because when I was his uncle's house, I see that was the dark horse. That's a really strong, dark brown, horse
Yeah.
is a strong bone structure. Then I come up the idea. I said, Lyle, possible you can wear any casual. I don't want to be fancy. I don't want to be in like in the festival day or something, just very casual. Usually just a long time, just people, just simple, just in like winter time. And he said, well, just a robe, just a wrap on my body, just keep warm.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, that's good enough. And except just a little blanket on the horseback, that's good enough. Indicate a little pattern to keep the identity of the native culture, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the white sheet, I think, is so beautiful in contrast
It
with the black.
is. I know. And if you had made the horse stand out more,
Yeah,
I
let's
don't know that
see.
it would have worked.
Yeah, let's see. If if the horse is a white horse, that would be another design.
Totally different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that I would be to ask the lion not to wear this kind of a the robe, maybe
Yeah.
another different color.
Yeah.
So always comes from the idea of the design first.
But did you
So
go into it advanced thinking I'm going to have the horse
I put
infused into the
so I
background?
usually I can like this. I can make a very quick decision. If I'll be able to see visually, you give me the chance visually to look at the first couple of minutes, I can come with the idea what would be the good. Another
Gotcha. Gotcha. So
to
you're
bring
you're
up.
you're kind of out there with the eye of a photographer in a way. You're
Yeah,
looking through the
I'm
viewfinder and
looking for the relationship.
right.
With the white horse, I might come up with another idea. Okay.
Okay.
Because I always respect what I have because I don't know why. I mean, maybe I already get used to it. If I only asking what they have, they may not have, right? I give them what they have. I like to make people easy also.
Yeah.
Also, I'll be able to see anything I can make to make the
Hmm.
work, make the work. So it did different kind of horse, of course. I may think in different way.
Yeah. This one has some really cool lighting. You know, what you did here
And
is
I think,
just
yeah,
awesome.
and this one I think I have so many uh, long memory. Uh, you
Oh,
probably
let me
see.
go.
So this is the one of the show catalog
Right.
at the time. And okay, 1996. Yeah, so you see uh, there's a part of the crop,
Yeah. Yeah.
the painting. And the show, I think, is totally about the 10 pieces. All is about the Tibet.
Man, that's such a great painting.
Yeah. Um, and each one had a written uh, about the story about the painting.
Dang, man, you were getting some good prices for 96.
Huh?
That's some good prices for 96.
I don't know, because the Garish, some of the small, some of the large more. Uh,
Wow, yeah, those are beautiful.
and then, and yeah, this one also in different.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, this is one of the painting you
That was
mentioned.
in 96, man. Holy cow. I was going to ask if you had anything available, but I know I can't afford you
Oh,
now.
no, I'm sorry. No, 2016. I'm
Oh, that's a
sorry.
little better. Holy
Yeah,
cow.
2016.
I was like 96, like with inflation,
Yeah,
that's like
my mind is go back
freaking
to night.
fortune.
Yeah, my mind is still back to the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I signed a check a
2016.
while back in
Yeah,
the 1900s.
2016. 2016. And
Okay.
that
Okay.
was the from Charles I. Gary.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Still
Yeah.
great prices, but at 96, I
No,
would
no,
have
no.
been
No
mind
way.
blown.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. 96, I think at the time I still I only had a couple Gary at the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me about this decision back here because it makes it feel like this really, really sunny day, almost like haze in the air. And is there a, is there a, I hate to say, I hate the word formula, but is there a trick to that? I mean, is there something about the color choices or the edges or the contrast that helps to create that feeling
Uh,
of that warm, hazy day?
well, first of all, beside the idea, because this is very casual, just what happened on the street.
Yeah.
And of course, you see, I just randomly use the length, long length of camera shooting, and they don't even notice because I shoot it from long distance.
No kidding.
They are just just happen to just sit there because a long day, they were pilgrims because they might from another faraway place and they went to worship, and to Lhasa city, because Lhasa was the center of their prayer, the place. And composition here, what I like is that I like the basic design, the black and white, and very beautiful abstract light and shadows.
Mm-hmm.
And I like some of the figure on the side, just on the back, and face, not face to the audience, and the guy just eating. They call it a jamba. They eat by food. They don't have the spoon. The way
Mm-hmm.
they eat it, you know, and the put the food into the mouth. And I only added two figure on the background, just the back of the the cargo. Yeah, the two figure I added just for compensation.
Mm-hmm.
Also, maybe a little more interesting story somehow. And everything, I think, pretty much like a documentary. And this is about their life, is their life. And also, okay, the next part is the technically. first is the idea. Then technically, actually, I light the background, the cargo, the the bottom of the reflections. If from the actual draw, the photo was a black and white, okay, at the time,
Oh,
but
it
it was
was.
dark, yeah, very dark. So because I add more air because I want to emphasize is the sunny day, right? The light on the ground, the light on the ground, if you understand how much strong the light bounce back into the
So it's
shadow,
reflected light that's doing it.
reflect the light, bounce back. So I keep a little light warm. And also I need to suggest because they're still cooking. You see the pop, right? The-
Mm-hmm.
a little red fire, and then the smoke. If
Yeah.
I like to take a little smoke or something, it's very fun, very interesting. And then to bury the edges, soften, and then kind of the
Over,
flying.
you talking about like over here?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then so generally, just like a light that I change, adjust the value and the color relationship. Yeah.
Hmm.
And then you probably see if you look at the original, I spend a lot of time have fun to play around texture on the ground. And
Yeah, it's really, really
uh,
cool.
yeah, I make a lot of fun in pastel
So
technique.
you're not painting the forms of pebbles and
No, no,
gravel. You're just sort of scumbling and
umbre,
using
or
texture
use
to
texture,
suggest it.
just to suggest it. It's something a little dark in the light, a little dark in the light.
So
But
why, obviously I understand for compositional reasons.
mhm.
You want to maintain this kind of dark pattern here. And then you've got sort of another dark here. And that's a beautiful
May I see the
composition.
arrow? Can you point on the arrow?
Yeah. Where do you want me pointing that?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Now
Yeah.
I can.
But so
Mhm.
this lighting thing where you've got the reflected light over here,
Yeah.
you're not applying the same principle here of bouncing that warm sunlight up into these guys, but yet it still works.
Mhm.
Why? So maybe you can't answer that, but I guess it doesn't matter. You can manipulate light in different ways in the same painting.
Well, first of all, I think, Jeff, uh, there's many ways you can deal with, let's say, if I always think if, if means if not, but what? I always think this way.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can find a lot of different solutions, right? But if I keep the same, almost the same close value as on the man in the shadow on the center, and then I think there would be much more distract from the center focus.
So you
From
want
the,
to have contrast there to create a focus.
I want to maintain the darkest part of value. There I can see right away. There's the most dark. There's the figure, the center, the 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 boiling.
Mm-hmm.
The pot, the cooking pot.
Yeah.
And then and then the background, if I push back and give a little distance, even though it's not too much difference, I mean, not like a landscape, but
Right.
at least the smoke, when the smoke, then reasonable, you can bring up the more atmosphere. Slightly,
You talking about right here?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Oh, okay, may I see yeah, arrow?
Yeah. You talking about right here?
Yeah, a little smoke, and then it goes back, all the smoke, then break up the edges and
Yeah.
go almost connect to the back of the car, the background. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yeah. So I'll be able
Yeah.
to create the softened edges. The edge can be soft.
So you don't need to apply the same tricks throughout a painting in order to create depth. In other words, you don't necessarily have to have absolute consistency, where in this case, in order to create the feeling of a sunny day, you are creating a lot of reflected light under the cart and really warming up that cart to just make it feel like the ground is just projecting this ton of light back up.
Yes.
And then you're also softening it, even though it's not that far back. So there would be no atmospheric perspective visible, really.
Yeah.
But then in the front, it's it's not razor sharp, but it's sharp, crisp, high contrast. And you might think that's a contradiction, but it doesn't matter. It's acceptable. Like the viewer accepts it. So you really can get away with a lot.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. The two things, first of all, I think is the reality, right? Everything under the light is the reality.
Reality, right.
The reality, if the under the light or in the shadow cast the shadow, reflect the light, if there's not much distance, reality, they're not too much different, right? But the secondly, you have to think how you read as the painting. So painting, it doesn't necessarily everything to base on complete from the reality to everything. So to me, I think if I need it, I need it. If I don't need it, it somehow is a reason, because they're cooking at the fire, smoke is a reason. The smoke is flying, then I had chances to play a bit more reflected light to keep soft, to push back. And also I want to mention to you, if you look at the bottom of the near close the on the right corner, the lower part of the right corner, can you see a little water, a little hole, on the water?
Here?
Reflections? Yeah. That wasn't from the photo. They don't. But I just added, I think for conversation purpose.
Right.
I want to open a little bit more like blue color. So kind of like this muddy, right?
Yeah.
Third muddy day. In my yesterday, maybe last night, there was a raining. So it's for my imagination.
So you're really telling a story. Yeah.
Yeah. It may be a raining. They, from design, they're looking good. I think somehow a little blue color, just I don't need to tell now is the blue sunny day or whatever, but just a little blue color, a little shadows. I think it might be abstract design, for otherwise that would be too empty on the ground.
Yeah.
Too flat. So just a little things. Yeah, I think that I just added there.
Yeah, that was smart. All right. So before we go, I've got one more question for you.
Okay.
And it's a question I ask all my guests. And that is, if you could give one piece of advice that you either wish you had that helped you in your career or you did have to aspiring artists, what would it be?
Keep your passion, number one. Keep your passion, and then keep learning.
Keep your passion and keep learning.
Yeah, keep learning. And of course, yeah, I think that's
good advice.
Yeah, simple.
Yeah, good and simple. There's not much more to be said.
I don't have to complicate.
Nope.
Simple, always simple the best.
Yeah, that's good. It's true. It's good advice. Well, Huihan, it was really an honor to have you on the show, man. I hope to get to meet you in person, maybe next year at the Porch Society.
Me too.
That'd be great.
So looking forward to it. Thank you so much, Jeff, for your time.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for tuning in to the Undraped Artist Podcast. If you enjoyed it, subscribe. And if you could, leave a comment or review. That really helps the channel. Please share the show with your friends, and if you're feeling generous, consider a monthly donation at theundrapedartist.com. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next week.